In the last class, you people saw different types of parameters. So today we'll go ahead. So we saw path parameters, sorry, we saw query parameters, we saw form parameters and all such things. Now, in the last class, we saw a method which takes form parameters, right? See this method which takes form parameters, add product. Now, what if I want to call this method from the advanced REST client? I just want to test this method. So how will you do it from advanced REST client? Okay, let me show you. First of all, let me just deploy this services on the server. Okay, so let me start with advanced REST client. Okay, so now let's place a request for this method add product which takes form parameters. Okay, and basically it is annotated with a post annotation, right? It handles post request. So first of all, we need the URL for this service. So this is the URL. HTTP localhost 9999 rest product service. So that is the URL. The next thing is here, this method handles post request. So we'll add this method post. The HTTP method used is post. Now we need to pass form parameters. So how will you pass form parameters here? See, you go to this body. Here if you'll find this body. Content type you specified as application form URL encoded. Application form URL encoded. Okay, select. The next thing is here it indicates that as part of this request we want to send some form parameters. The data related to that form, you can say form parameters means. Okay. Now you got this method. Sorry, you got a button here. If you can check this to add the form parameters, click on this add form parameters. Now you got that form parameters. You see, first one, let's say ID 333, name iPhone. Let's add few more form parameters. Price, so 3000. Description, mobile. You see, now we have added four form parameters, I can say. So this method, it takes this form parameters, if you can check this. Okay. Now here, once you're done, you can click on this arrow parameters, hide panel. Just you hide the panel, that's it. You got four form parameters, I can say. Now you can send the request. So here on the server side, I'll clear the console. You see the console will make it blank. The console is blank. So I will call this send method here. Okay, click on send. Yeah, 204 means the request is sent. Server didn't send any response. There is no response here because this method doesn't return anything. It's void. Okay. You see, you got that method invocation. That method is called add product. Add product method is called. So this way we can place a request by adding form parameters here. Okay. So is it clear for everyone? You can use the advanced REST client this way. Did you people download this advanced REST client? Yes. In the Google Chrome extensions. In the extensions you will find it.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, great. So you can just use it to test your services. Okay. So you see, always we are accessing this REST services either using browser or this tool called as REST client. Sorry, advanced REST client. Can we write a Java application or Java client application? I can say so to access this REST services. I can say yes, you can do that. Okay. So any application which can construct a HTTP request, any application which can construct a HTTP request, it can access this REST services because REST services are accessed using HTTP protocol itself, right? Yes, so you can do that. It's not a problem. So now let's write a Java client application to access this REST services. Okay, let's do that. Yeah, just 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 a minute, please. Give me 1 minute. Yeah, okay, I'm back. So let's write a client application here. So first of all, for that, let's create a Maven project, because on the client side also we need this JEE libraries. So because we need JAX-RS. So JAX-RS itself provides you the client API, you know, to access the REST services. So I'll check this option here, create a simple project. I'm creating a Maven project here. REST client proj. I'll click on finish. Then we need to add that library. Just a second. Yeah, sorry. So now let's add this libraries here. Okay. So I have a client project already. So I'll just copy the libraries. Just let me do that quickly. These are the dependencies which you need here. This, that's it. So this is the client API which we need to work with the client application. Yeah. Now what I want to do is I would like to access this add product method itself. I would like to write a Java Java class for this. Okay, client application here. You see, I'll just define a class called as test. So already I have the code. Let me just copy this code and explain it. Yeah. So writing a client application is very simple and straightforward here. So in our case, we need the URL first of all. We have this URL here. Let me just copy this URL. You see, first we need to create a client object. We need to create a client object. So you'll find this complete API in the Jax arrays itself. You see the import statements java x.ws.rs.client. So this is the client API provided by the Jax arrays. Client API provided by Jax arrays here. You see, we need to create a client object first of all. So how will you create this client object? You see, using this client builder class. It's a predefined class. So in this client builder class, we got this method called as new client. It's a static method. If you can check this, we got this method called as new client. So it will straight away return a client object. Now, after you got the client object, you see, you'll create a web target object which refers to that client, I can say. Okay, yes. So the next thing is here, you will create a web target object which refers to that service which you're trying to access. So how will you create that object? In the client object itself, we got this method target. We got this method target. Just simply call this target method and pass the URL of that service. Simply pass the URL of that service here. Yes. So Once you do this here, you see, you'll get a web target object. You'll get a web target object, which refers to that web service. So once you're done, we need to create a builder object here, which helps us to construct a request. We need to create a builder object, which helps us to construct a request. Okay, we have to send the request, right? Yes. So we have to do this. In the target object, you got this method called as request. Just call this method request. And then here, what type of response we are expecting, we are specifying it here. What type of response data we are expecting. Yes. You see, we are expecting plain text. That is what we are specifying. Next, you see that RESTful resource method, it takes form parameters. It takes form parameters, right? So how will you construct that form parameters here? How will you create that form parameters? So you have this form class which will make use of for that purpose to create that form parameters. Okay, so we'll be using that form class here. You see, we have to create that form class object first of all, instantiate that form class, instantiate the form class, and then you see to this form class object we can add that form parameters. You have a param method. Simply call this param method and pass the parameter name and the parameter value. Okay. So once you're done adding the form parameters to this form object, then you can construct the response, sorry, request and send it. So you have that form parameters in this form object. Now we'll use the builder to construct that request. To construct the request, I'm using the builder method, builder object. You see, in the builder object, we got the post method. So whenever you want to place a post request, you'll call this post method here. So we see, by calling this methods, we are constructing this HTTP request. That's it. So we don't have to write any code literally to construct it. I mean, so internally that HTTP request will be created here. Yes. So you will call this post method this way. Yes. So to this post method, you will pass that details about the data, what type of data you're passing to the server, what type of data you're passing to the server here. You see, entity dot, we have an entity method in this entity class. So this entity method will take that form data. You see, whatever that form parameters we have in that form object, you have to simply pass it to this entity method. It will take that form object which contains the form parameters, and you see, you will also specify that body content, I mean the content type here. So this is what type of content. You see, we are saying it is application form URL encoded, form URL encoded. So that form data, whenever you're passing the form data, yes, you will specify the content type as URL, form URL encoded. That will be the content type. Okay, that is how you specify the content type here. And in response, this method here, what it returns. In response here, it returns a string object. That is what we have specified here. In response, this method returns a string object, the post method. In the last parameter, string class. That's it. So this way, you see, you'll construct a request, post request, and you're sending it. Basically, you're sending that request to the server. You're sending the request here to the server. That is what we're doing. So internally now that HTTP request will be constructed and it is sent to a server. And that appropriate service method will be invoked. RESTful resource method will be invoked. The form data is passed on to that method. You see that method as of now it doesn't return any response, right? So you won't get any response here in this case. So let's see. You see, I'll run this code. This time on the server console, you should see the data which we are passing here. Okay, the client, this is the client application. It is blank. You didn't get in a response. Now you see, you can access the server console this way. Have you noticed it? You'll see the console symbol. So you have arrow. Now it will show you two consoles. We are running the client application also from the same ID. So two JVM instances are created. For client, one JVM. For the service, we have another JVM. Okay, definitely we'll have two different consoles. Yeah, two different JVM instances also. Yes, you can select this server console. You see Tomcat 8 server. Select the server console. Now you see, you'll find these details. ID is 1445. So this is the ID which was passed by the client. So this way, from the client application also, we can place a request. Okay, from the client application also, we can place a request. So I hope you people got any questions in this regard. Please let me know. Okay, now what if you have to place a GET request? Then what to do? Let's say I want to call this method. I want to call this method. In this case, what you will do, let's see. So if you want to place this request, so in that case, you see, first of all, the URL will be saying, um, here this code you have to change it. Okay, let me add it to some other method, the entire code and copy. So first we'll create a client object, then we'll create a web target object, which refers to that web service. You see, we are passing the URL. Next thing, we'll create a builder object which helps us to construct that request and send it to the server. You see, this time here we got get method. You'll find that we have get method here. You can use get method to place the request. Here I will call that method builder dot get. You see, this time we don't have any input data to pass. Just what we want as a written type, we can just specify a string object. The response data will wrap it in a string object. We want it to be wrapped in a string object here. Then I'll display that response data here. Okay, that's it. So that method, it doesn't take any parameters, right? Yes. So simply we'll do this. So we'll run for this is not acceptable. Just a minute. Just a minute. Text XML. Change it to text XML. It says not acceptable. So the request here is specifying it as HTML. We can also specify the details this way: media type dot application HTML. So in our case, it is not taking any input data, right? Yeah. Take response object because we're getting some examples now. And we'll call this method get entity. We'll call this toString method on it. Okay. Let's run this code. The existing connection was forcibly closed by the remote host. So we should be able to read this data through this. Entity. Okay. Let me just specify it as a product class type. Okay. I'll show you this. So let's take this product entity class here. Let's take this entity classes on this side also in the client application. And then here we'll add some dependencies to support that Hibernate. Next, now what I will do is here, straight away I'll pass this list details. First of all, let me check the response content here, whether we are getting any response properly or not. So we'll take a response object here. In the response object, we'll have all the details. First of all, let's check this response dot, whether we'll check whether we are getting any data. Get length. Okay, let's see the length here. -1 means we didn't get anything actually. Mm, let me try calling this service comes from this that's client. We're using get method, will do it. No headers, I've deleted the headers. Now place the request. 204. Why are we getting 204? So we should get 200. Let me use the browser. Okay, we are getting the response. Getting this report here. Why it's not working here? Let me check the, let's place the request again. Not to not for again. I don't have any headers here. No parameters, nothing. It's just blank. The same thing, yeah, we're not getting any response here also. In the client application also, we're not getting any response. That's the problem. Okay. Let me do one thing. Let me place the request for the other resource methods which you got here. You see the one which takes this query parameters. Okay. So let's call this method. So we'll call this method which takes query parameters. Let's see whether we are able to call this method. It is also a get request itself, basically. In this case, we have to pass two path parameters. Place the request. So to this URL itself, I'll just append it as of now. You see ID, no one, name, some name. Okay. Oh, sorry. Maybe I did it. ID equal to 333 and name, which is something like this I found. Now let's place the request. Here, but this is weird. So that method get products is called. So which is displaying all the customer data, all the product accounts. We got the complete list of product accounts here. Okay, but when we are placing the plain request, we didn't get anything. I will just remove this parameters. Okay, without adding parameters, let me just place the request. So let's see what happens. Oh, we're getting it now. Yeah. So the request is placed. So we are getting this data, XML data. So you got all the product records. So what I did is I just changed this to XML format, right? Media type, application XML. That means we are expecting XML in response. But you see, we got a string which contains that XML. So is there any option for us to transform the objects which we get straight away into product objects? Is there any option here for us to transform that the XML data into into product objects. I want to transform the XML data into product objects. What to do? Yes. I hope you people got the question right. If you can check that string, you got that XML data. I don't want to deal with XML data here. I want objects here straight away.
You have to use JAXB library.
So JAXB, okay. So if I use JAXB library, so will it just convert everything into objects format here? So how it works? No. What are we supposed to do? So in this case, here in the client application, so we are getting this string which contains the XML data. So we need to transform this XML data appropriately. That string which contains the XML data, we have to transform it into objects here, product objects. So that is our requirement. So how will you proceed? So what you will do in this case? Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll give it as a task. You try this, all of you. If you fail to do it, I'll explain it. Okay? Yes. Transforming this XML data which you got here Hello, can you people hear me? Hello? Yeah, I lost the connection. Sorry.
Yes.
Can you please hear? Can you hear me? Okay, fine. Great, thank you. Yeah. So this is a task for you people. I want you people to read this XML data which you got here. You see, you're getting this XML data, right? So I want that XML data to be transformed into appropriate Java objects here. So you see, you have multiple XML elements, so they have to be transformed into Java objects format. That means a list of product objects should be created here. List of product objects should be created here. Yes. So that is what is expected. List of product objects. Okay. Yeah. So let's move on. Now I'll talk about sub resources and sub resource locator. So we saw root resource classes so far, right? So what is a root resource class, by the way? What is a root resource class, by the way? Yes. When I say resource class or a root resource class means what? A resource class, or if I say a root resource class, what does that mean? A root resource class means a resource class. So generally, when I say root resource class or a resource class, it is simply annotated with the path annotation. You see, a URL is configured. It is annotated with path annotation here. So that is a root resource class. Okay. Yes. This is a root resource class. So you know this class. So we call it as a root resource class. Means a class annotated with at the rate path annotation, and basically a URL is configured for this root resource class. If you can check this. Okay. So you see, in this root resource class itself, you got this resource methods. That means your web services methods, I can say. When I say resource methods, they are nothing but web services methods. Yes, fine. So whenever you want to access a root resource class, so you will use the URL which is configured for that root resource class. Okay, so you got a URL which is configured for the root resource class. That URL is used. So that is how it works. You know, you'll find that we have sub-resource classes also. We can also define a sub-resource class. So what is a sub-resource class? When I say a sub-resource class, it looks like a root resource class, but there won't be any path annotation. You won't find any path annotation configuration for that sub-resource class. So something like this, I'll show you. Now, this class here, which you're looking at, so what is missing? What is missing in this class? You see that path annotation is missing in this class. You'll find that path annotation is missing in this class. So, is there any URL configured? No. So, how will you access this class then if there is no URL configured? You need a URL. So, generally, for a resource class, you'll have a URL configured, right? Yes. But there is no URL. So, this is how your sub-resource class looks like. In the sub-resource class, you'll have resource methods annotated with path or HTTP method designators. Okay, either they will be annotated with path or HTTP method designators here, I can say. Okay, yes. You see, as of now, this class you can call it as a sub-resource here, because in this class you got the methods which are annotated with path or method designators, but there is no path annotation configured for this class. There is no URL configured for this class. Okay, yes. So if there is no URL, how will you access resource methods? How will you access the methods of this class? So in what cases you need this kind of sub-resource classes here? In what cases you need this kind of sub-resources classes? So let's see. Let me explain it. So here, to explain this example, to explain this concept, let's take this example. Yes. Let's say you have some XYZ company. Now, this company has got different, so let's say it's a MNC, multinational company. It's got different branches in different countries. Let's say you have it in US, you got it in UK, let's say in India. So, and this company has got an application which maintains the customer details, and you have services provided to access the customer details. Okay, you got some services which can be used to access the customer details, let's say. Okay. Yeah. So to access US customers, you have a REST service which provides US customer details, let's say. And similarly, so for UK also, you have a REST service which provides UK customer details. For India also, you have appropriate REST service. Because you have different database, different storages for each country customers, they have a separate service itself here. Okay, you have separate service which provides, you see, that country customer details here. Now, when I say you have three REST services, you'll have how many URLs here? I mean, you know that for each REST service, you'll have a separate URL. Am I right? For each REST service, there will be a separate URL itself. Yes. For each service, there is a separate URL. You have a URL for accessing that REST services, which provides US customer details. Similarly, you have URLs. There is a separate URL for each REST service, you can say. Okay, so any client who wants to access this services, they have to use this appropriate URLs, I can say. They have to use this appropriate URLs. Okay, you know, here we have a problem. For each REST service, we got a separate URL. For each service, we got a separate URL. So a client who wants to access the US customer details, they have to use one URL. The client who wants to access UK customer details, they have to use another URL. India customer details have to use Indian customer details. Sorry, for Indian customer details, again another URL has to be used. So this way, you got separate URLs here for each REST service. I don't want a separate URL for each REST service. Okay. Okay. Before that, first of all, you understood that for each REST service, you have a URL, separate URL, and to access that particular service, you need to use that appropriate URL. Till here, is this clear, all of you? Till here, is this clear, all of you? What I've explained, is it clear? Hope everyone got this right. Now, this is an important task for you people. Now, I want to use a single URL or a uniform URL to access these different services. To access different services here, I want to use I, I want to use the same URL, uniform URL here. I want to use uniform URL, common URL for all the services. That is my requirement. The common URL for all the services here. Hope you got it. A uniform URL, just one URL for all the services. So that you see, for the clients, it will be transparent. Now they don't have to worry about using a different URL to access different country customer details. They should be able to use the same URL to access any country customer details. Okay. Yes. So that is the requirement. So will you people try working with this a uniform URL? Yes. You got the requirement first of all. Can I have yes please? The uniform URL to multiple services.
Yes.
So what you will do? Just any idea? Think about it.
Pass the country name as one of the query parameters.
Pass the country name as one of the query parameters. Okay. But you see, we have to configure the URLs for all the REST services, right? So it has to be same. How can we make sure that it's same?
No.
Okay, you try this. This is your task. Okay, I want you people to try this. So I'll do one thing. I will explain this anyways in the next session. First half hour to 40 minutes, I'll explain this part. And next, we'll talk about securing the services. Okay, and then we'll move on to the next topic, that is Spring Framework. So we have Hate OS. Hate OS, I'll talk about it in Spring Boot itself. While I discuss about Spring Boot, I'll show you Hate OS. So probably from day after tomorrow, we'll be starting with Spring also. Okay. Yes. So I'll do one thing. I'll stop it here today. Meanwhile, I gave you a couple of tasks. Try to work with them. Actually, for other batches, I'm forcing them to work on the tasks so that they'll get a good insight. So there are good results also. So, but never force you people to do that. So make sure that you work on this task and try to get some knowledge. So tomorrow, I'll show you people anyways. But meanwhile, try to work on it. Okay. I'll stop it here today. So let's meet tomorrow and we'll continue the discussion. Thank you. Bye bye.